Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cosmic Comfort. How are you doing? I'm excited to see you. We have some interesting work to do tonight. I have a fun little trick I want to teach you tonight, and a topic that I want to discuss with you tonight that we haven't really talked about before, which is how important your thoughts are to your experience of comfort in your life. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. I'm going to teach you a little exercise, and I want you to play with it a little bit. And then if you like it, I think it could become part of your practice. If it doesn't resonate with you, then that's okay too. But it's really good to see you guys. Would love to know, as I always ask at the beginning of our sessions together, how you are. How's it going? Has it been a good week? Oh, you're noticing my necklace? This is my latest Sylvia talisman. Her Sylvia Peluso's jewelry. She's a friend of mine. She's always at my full moon rituals here in Los Angeles, and she's, in my opinion, the most beautiful jewelry designer on Etsy. So her Etsy shop is called Sylvia's Creations. And so if you ever want to see just what I think is really beautiful, but also energetically really powerful jewelry, I highly recommend her little shop. It's pretty incredible. Thank you so much. Cheryl says, I'm good, Athena. How are you? I'm good too. It's an exciting time around here. We're starting to enter the most magical season of the year. So it's exciting. There's a really fun vibration in the field right now. This is Gingerade, which is a kind of kombucha that I love. Between 3 and 5 every day, I either drink chai tea or I drink ginger kombucha. And that's because I always find that if I have any kind of digestive issues, which I have fewer of since I really started going more alkaline with my diet, and especially since I stopped eating dairy, I really don't eat dairy of any kind anymore. But anyway, I've needed less of that, but it's a habit now for me to have either ginger tea or ginger kombucha or some kind of ginger beverage between 3 and 5. And I find that my digestion for the rest of the day and the evening is much better. So that's a little digestive tip for you. I know and if you like ginger, it's really fun to experiment. Do you like tea better? Do you like the kombucha better? How do you like to work with your tea? Yes, so cheers to that. Hi, Gwendolyn from Ohio. How's the weather in Ohio today? So good to see you guys. So good. Getting your Day of the Dead costume together, says Brenda. My chalice. So this chalice comes from the most amazing man who owns a store called Stone Age in Glastonbury, England. And he's a friend. And he came to the shop, actually, to visit and to participate in one of our full moon rituals last year. I don't know if you remember him. Louis was here, but Louis has these beautiful chalices made. This one I loved because it has garnets on it. And the glass is quartz. It's not glass. It's actually quartz, which is a nice high vibe way to enjoy your beverages. And so Louis, if you ever want anything like that, just let me know. I see Louis about once or twice a year. And you can also reach out to him directly on Facebook, or you can reach out to him directly on his website to love his work so much. All right, you guys, are you ready? So I'm going to smudge. Look at my little Palo Santo stick, says gratitude. Because you have to be in a place of gratitude. And like I'm always saying, you can't just be grateful when you're happy. It doesn't work that way. You got to find a way to be grateful when it's hard. And you know what? You can look at your life, don't you think? You can look at your life 2 ways. You can look at your life as easy or hard, right? I kind of think that's a choice. There are times where I think my life is easy, but probably other people would look at it and say, wow, that's a shit show. You know what I mean? But it's all relative, right? Like what you think is easy might not be what I think is easy, or what I think is easy might not be what you think is easy. So anyway, you have to find a way to experience and express gratitude even when it's hard. And there are always seasons to your life. You know, as we talk about going through difficult times, and as I hold space for people, and I actually would like to talk about that for about 5 minutes if you guys are down, because we talk about holding space all the time, but we don't really talk about what that means to hold space for people. So if you guys are interested in that, I think that's actually worthy of a few. I will post a link to Louis' site for you later. Okay. Just because I can't do that and do this right now too, but I will post it for you later. He's also on my friends list. His name is Louis Krieg. So if you look into my Facebook friends, you'll find him there. Oh, I'm so glad. Marinelle says this is a nice break before she goes to her night class. That's so good. Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. So it's a very important thing, the idea of holding space. I actually posted a video on my personal Facebook page because there's that guy who does the really funny, metaphysical videos, and he was making fun of people holding space. It does sound kind of weird sometimes, like, oh, I'm holding space for you. And what does that mean? What it means to hold space, energy fills containers. Okay, this room is a container. The room that you're in is a container. When I teach a class, that class is a container. This group right now, this Cosmic Comfort group that's online together right now, is a container. There usually is a keeper of the container or someone who's responsible for the energy of that container, but all energy operates in containers. When you pray for people, you are creating a container and offering thoughts and energy that connects you to source in service of the well-being and the best outcome for that person. That to me is what prayer is. You're opening up an energetic space, you're inviting the divine in, you're communing, you're connecting, and you're allowing the divine to move through you and through your request to heal or help or hold the other person. I'm a big fan of prayer, by the way, because I even appreciate the concept, right? So, and I talk to my kids and we pray at night. So prayer is very important in my life. You can think of prayer in a lot of different ways though, right? Mantras are prayers. Chanting is a prayer. Just saying Om is a prayer. Thank you. My team just posted Louis' Facebook profile for you guys. And from there, you'll find his website and all the other stuff. Just tell Louis I said hi. I love him very much. Okay, so whether it's praying or thinking about people with good thoughts or teaching a class, I don't care what you teach. Any classroom that you hold as a teacher is a container of energy, and you're responsible for the energy in that space, metaphysical or not. And classrooms have energies. Those of you who are teachers know what I'm talking about, right? Didn't you find when you were a teacher that every year the energy of your container was totally different? I had years as a teacher or professor where I thought, this is my best class ever and I'm going to miss them and I wish we didn't have to stop seeing each other. And then I had some semesters and years where I was like, bye everybody. So even if you're a teacher and you don't think of yourself as doing spiritual work, I would say that anyone who teaches anything is a spiritual person because you're impacting the learning experiences of others, and in that way you're transforming their experience of reality, which is spiritual, but that's on a soapbox. So here's what I want to say about holding space. The most important thing to remember about holding space is you are not the one doing the work. Okay, and I always remind people this. When you pray, you're asking God, the divine, the creator, however you think of God, when you pray, you are asking the one, right? You are asking source to come into that space and to create, to use the energy that you are offering to create, right? You're basically opening a vessel. And so the most important thing to think about when I say I'm holding space for you, basically what I'm doing is I'm creating an energetic container and sitting with you in that container. Sometimes I'll call in spirit guides, always with permission, by the way, too. I will always say, can I hold space for you? Or if the person asks, then there's permission, right? So you always want to do this with someone else's permission. But you're basically creating like a container, like a bowl of energy, and you're calling them in, and sometimes they're spirit guides, sometimes they're higher self, sometimes ascended masters, depending on what you're doing. And you're also calling in the energy of the divine to be present. But you're not doing anything. You're merely creating the container. And that's literally what it means to hold space. The number one thing I like to teach people, and this is what I really want you to hear about this part of what we're talking about tonight. When you send energy to people, healing energy, when I visualize it, when I put my hand up to you and I'm sending it right now, you can put your hand up to receive it. When I'm sending healing energy to you or to our planet, I am channeling the divine through me to you. It's not that I am doing something. Does that make sense? And I think that kind of deference and reverence is really, really, really important. Plus, keep this in mind too, it also keeps your energy clean, okay? You're not pulling from your own energy supply. You are pulling from the divine through you. So that way you're not draining your own. I mean, I've heard people say, oh my God, at the end of a healing session, there's nothing left of me, right? Like I can barely stand up, I'm so tired. That tells me that person's allowing their own energy supply to be pulled on versus being a good channel for a much bigger and more potent energy supply and acknowledging that they're just the keeper of the space. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, basically Reiki is the best possible training in this, right, Gabriel? Like, I mean, you almost don't have better training than Reiki, but a lot of people have never experienced or worked with Reiki or been attuned, so they're still learning, how energy flows and moves through, and that it's through me but not of me. Does that make sense? I'm glad, because this is the kind of stuff I don't see people talk about a lot. I'll be honest. I watch a lot of other spiritual people's videos and trainings and things like that, and I'm always thinking like, this is really important, and do people know? Because empaths can get really burned out when they're trying to make it happen themselves, through themselves, from themselves. And I don't think it's ego. I think it's just a matter of not being trained. And so I project with my left hand, which is this one, and I receive with my right hand. So you would put your right hand up to match my left to receive the energy. Yeah? How do you know when you're doing it? My hands get really warm. And that's how I know it's flowing. Like, my hand is really hot right now. I'm sure there's a few of you connecting with it, so I can feel it. Does that make sense? But that ritual burnout is no joke, and then I hear people saying, I got to stop. I got to take a year off. I don't think this spiritual stuff is for me. And it's because they have drained their own energy reserves. They're not, using their divine birthright, which is an access point to the divine. You are the divine, but it's not of you, it's through you. So traditionally, the left hand of your body is masculine. It is objective and it is projective. Okay, I'll say that again. The left side of your body energetically is masculine, it is objective, and it is projective, meaning it projects energy. The right, think left brain also being thought of as masculine, more linear, right? Right side of your body energetically, feminine, subjective, receptive, masculine, objective, projective, feminine, receptive, subjective. Okay, so most of the time it's sending with the left and receiving with the right. Sometimes when people are left-handed, they have told me that they feel like it's the opposite for them. So these are just the traditional, right? The traditional understanding based on energy and the hemispheres of the brain and so forth. If you feel like you're the opposite, so Brenda says she feels like she's the opposite. And by the way, Sky, my daughter, is ambidextrous. And so she also feels like she is able to project and receive with both hands. So when she told me that, she's like, Mom, I think I can do both. I was like, well, forget it. There's rules, and then forget the rules. Yeah, so you do you know what I mean? Like, whenever I teach, I always say, like, here's how I was trained, here's how a lot of people think about it, and then you do you, is what I basically tell people. Okay. Left hand, masculine, left side of the brain, objective, linear, projective. Right side, feminine, subjective, receptive, pulling energy in, yeah, is the left and the right. Yes, Jazz says, do you think a person can pray and grow spiritually without really knowing what they're doing? I absolutely do. I mean, in my own life, I just went through it's funny, I'm curious if you guys can see, if you see me. Sometimes I wonder, do they see me? Because I'm a work in progress. I'm not finished. And over the last 12 months, I've gone through a really powerful transformation in my own life. And I was telling somebody yesterday, I still feel really human, but I have a much deeper level of compassion for people that feels like coming closer to God is the only way I can describe it. I feel a little less connected, maybe. I don't feel triggered. And so I feel very soft. I feel very open. I feel very compassionate. I feel very available. And I appreciate you guys seeing me. So I'm kind of in a different place, and it's a really special place. Like, I really appreciate it because I haven't always had this in a consistent way. And so anyway, I put that out there because I don't want you to think that I'm up here saying, no, I'm done and you guys can all watch me and I've got it all figured out. It's like, no, I'm still kind of figuring it out, but I'm in a different place. And so one of the things to think about, I took my bracelets off because I was traveling this weekend. I have to get them back on. I missed them. Well, Leo is not a soft energy either. I mean, Leo will kick people's ass. You know what I mean? And I've done that too. I've been in that youthful, unevolved leonine thing, you know what I mean? But oh, I appreciate that. Dawn says you remind me of my aunt. I really appreciate that. So anyway, thank you for seeing me. I see you too. And we're all evolving. And so sometimes, so here's what happened. Are you ready? It was a couple of months ago where I stopped and I said, I'm really different. Like I don't kind of see my world the same way. And I run into people that I haven't seen even in about 3 months. And I think, God, I mean, there's parts of me that have been shed just in that time period and the peace that it has brought. And so anyway, sometimes you only recognize your own development in hindsight, even for me, because I'm so busy holding space for everybody else that I stop and go, wait, I just finally caught up. Look where I got to. And it's kind of exciting because I'm not constantly analyzing, you know, but there was a point last week where I looked in the mirror and I thought, I even look different. Like I'm seeing a transformation that's really powerful. Here's what I will say about this though. It's not just me. Are you ready? As you guys are all saying, it's not just me. I promise you there's a shift happening on the planet right now. And it's partly stuff you can see and it's partly stuff you can't. But I have never felt more optimistic, more relaxed, more confident that everything is going to be okay than I have felt in the last 7 to 10 days. Something is happening. And what I've been telling people is it's either galactic, we're either being contained galactically by a broader force, or it's domestic. There's something happening domestically. Again, I don't know how much we would even be aware of it. But do you feel it? Just in the last like 7 to 10 days, I had been feeling, I've got goosebumps all over. I had been feeling candidly really nervous. Candidly, like not sleeping at night, not for myself, really thinking about our country. And I was really thinking about, you know, climate and just, I was really feeling nervous. And just the last, like I can just feel myself even still releasing. Last 7 to 10 days, something is happening. And I have a feeling it's above and below. And I don't know what it is. So I would tell you, if I knew what it was, I would tell you. But I feel it in my bones. And so anyway, I tell you that tonight as a source of cosmic comfort, truly. I think we saw a bit of a dark night there for a minute. And I think we're finally coming back into a place of centered peace. And so because most of us are empaths and able to feel, you know, we are more aware. I'm glad that you're connecting with that too. And just keep in mind, like that you may take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, and 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And that's how spiritual progress can be sometimes too. And don't judge that. That's sort of the way it goes. That's right. And then a lot of you have gone through such major transformation. Yeah, I mean, and sun activity, meaning probably solar flares, I think is what you're talking about, which can cause a lot of energetic agitation. And so just being mindful, but also noticing, not getting caught up in the hype of things. And I'm also, if I turn off the TV and if I turn off the phone and I turn off social media for a couple of hours, I also feel like I'm able to sense better. You know, it's like too much data coming in and sometimes I can't sort it. You know, it's like I can't even keep up with it. So anyway. Well, you guys are a godsend too. So, and I'm proud of you because you are going through your own awakening process, and it's beautiful. It's empowering to see you. For me, it's empowering to see you. Truly. So thank you for inspiring me every day. I love you for that. Okay, so I'm gonna light my peace candle as we always do. Just calling in energies of protection, safety, peace for our beautiful planet. Calling in healing energies of reconstruction and prosperity for those who have lost so much in the fires and in the storms. And so we're just calling in beautiful energies of peace and prosperity, the ability to create and recreate, to be present to your life, to release anxiety and just embrace a deeper sense of peace. So good. Okay, so here's what I want to share with you tonight in a little exercise I want to teach you. You ready? Oh, I love that, Britt. I love knowing that. I love you too, Jessica Hicks. I see you. Beth, girl, we all need this. Okay, so you know, I think, that your thoughts create your reality in every moment. Your thoughts are truly the most important magical tool you will ever use. Your thoughts can create matter. They do all the time. If you really were to take a microscope to your life and look around your life, a lot of the things that are in your life, even if you don't like them anymore, are things that at some point you said you wanted or you thought that you wanted. Whose birthday is it? Is it Michael's birthday? Happy birthday, Michael. I love that. Love, love, love. Happy birthday. I hope you're feeling cosmically comforted on your birthday. Your thoughts are very powerful. And one of the things I want you to do, I want you to practice it tonight. And then if you like it, I want you to practice it until I see you next week. So that would be your homework if you like the exercise, okay? I want you to start to become very aware of your thoughts, bringing your full attention to your thoughts in each moment, okay? And I want you to recognize that you have the option with every thought that comes into your mind to accept that thought, to hold that thought, or to delete that thought. Let me say that again. That's exactly right. Carol says thoughts are energy in motion. Every single thought you have, really hear me on this. You have three choices. You can accept the thought, say yes to it. You can suspend the thought, you can hold it, or because you need to think about it maybe, or you're not clear about it or something like that, or you can delete the thought out of consciousness, okay? It doesn't leave the Akasha, okay? The Akashic records are the record of every thought, every experience, every action that has ever happened on any of the planes across our multiverse from the beginning of time until infinity, right? So everything is still recorded in the Akasha. But here's the thing. Thoughts become matter. Thoughts become a vibration that goes out into the universe and attracts a like vibration. Okay, let's put it that way. Thoughts begin attracting like vibrations within 7 seconds. From the time you start, and I do this with my kids, right? So you can imagine me as a parent. Imagine my kids complaining in the morning. I don't like my cereal, and I sit there and go 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. They're used to it by now where they're like, crap, she's counting again. I'm trying to get them to be mindful of the fact that when you get stuck in a low thought pattern, after 7 seconds, the way you have sent a little car out on the energetic freeway, and now it's looking for other stuff just like it. So you start saying, I don't like this day. This day's been really hard. People haven't been nice, blah, 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 blah. 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds. Guess what the rest of your day is going to be like? I mean, energetically, you're going to encounter more of all the things that you just expressed so much frustration about, compared to, I'm feeling really peaceful right now. I'm optimistic. I feel like there are good things around the corner. I'm excited about my life. I'm making productive changes. I'm being more authentic. I'm taking responsibility. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And you can imagine it on an even more powerful level, okay? So this is how manifestation works. You sit down and you say, I want to create X, whatever it is you want to create. I want to create X, and I want it to look like this, and I want it to have these qualities, and I want it to be in this place, and I want to be doing this, and I want to be helping these people. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. If you can stay in that creation mode for 7 seconds, you've now transferred just the energy of that thought to a vibration, a frequency. And frequencies naturally, I mean, this is science. Frequencies seek common frequency. They seek a like frequency. And that's why everything you do, remember your grandmother used to tell you, may all your good come back to you. All your good does come back to you. And so does all the other stuff. And the one thing I think people, and you can fake it till you make it. I mean, it's better if it's genuine. The one thing I think people don't realize, truly, I really don't think they do, even grown-ups, because kids do this stuff, but you think, oh, they're kids, they just don't know better. When you are mean to someone, or you talk badly about people, or you put just negative, dark stuff out there, what do you think happens? By the way, that stuff doesn't hurt the person you're trying to hurt. It doesn't even reach them, because it's not about them, it's about you, really. When you get mad at somebody, it's because they've triggered something in you. because they are you. It wouldn't bother you so much if it didn't resonate with you, and it resonates because you are them. And so it's like, oh, I'm so mad. I'm looking at him or I'm looking at her and they're showing me things I don't want to see and they're triggering me. But if you get angry and if you send negative energy out to that person, I promise you this today, and I promise you this on 30 years of doing this work, because I've seen it happen both ways. The only person that gets hurt is you, because you're sending crap out into the universe, complete crap, and it is attracting muck after muck after muck, and it's headed right back to you. And it's hard to watch. I get to watch it a lot because I'm on social media, right? And not even people being not nice to me, people being not nice to other people. And you just watch. It's like, oh, you almost don't want to watch. Like, oh, you know, because that train comes right back. And you know what the crazy part is? When it comes back, what do people say? Here we go again. I just have bad luck. I'm telling you, I just can't catch a break. I can't find a job. My health isn't, you know. And meanwhile, we're all looking and saying, is this for real? Like, you really don't see the connection between how you are and what you're getting? Like, you really don't see it. And yet they don't, but you do, okay? You do. And so here's what I want you to do for the next 10 minutes. And then if you like it, I want you to do it forever. Are you ready? Every thought you have, don't judge it, acknowledge it, okay? Thoughts come to you as inspiration. You're meant to think the things that you're thinking. So don't judge your thoughts, but you do get to decide. You are not a victim of your thoughts. So when that thought pops into your head, I want you to ask yourself, do I want to affirm it, say yes to it? Do I want to hold it, say maybe to it? Or do I want to delete it, say no to it? Okay? So what's a thought right now? Right? What's a thought right now that's going through your mind? The thought that's going through my mind right now is that the fan, which has to be on because it's 1,000 degrees outside in Los Angeles today, my thought is the fan's really loud. I'm going to affirm that thought. The fan is actually loud. Now, if it really bothered me, I don't really care. So if it really bothered me, I would delete that thought. I would just say that, if I said that fan's really bothering me, I would delete that thought because it's going to bring me more agitation. Because you're attracting whatever you're focusing on, right? It's interesting, isn't it? Happy birthday to you. Oh, Susan, it's your birthday. It's not Michael's birthday. When it's Michael's birthday, we'll celebrate him. Christine is thinking it's cold, right? Lori's thinking about peace. Dawn's saying, I don't fit. Tara's saying, my kids are being loud, right? Without judging these thoughts, I have no judgment, right? Do you want to affirm it? Do you want to hold it? Or do you want to delete it? Keep in mind, if you choose to hold it, you're still sort of committing to it. Because if you hold it for more than 7 seconds, it creates a frequency and now you have a problem. Okay? Done with the heat, right? Feeling so loved. Julie likes my shirt, which I appreciate. This company is called Flower of Life Crystals, and I'm obsessed with their clothing because they put the flower of life on the back, which I think is kind of cute. So anyway, thank you for noticing it. Okay, started to work out today, said Vita. Okay, so you doing it? Affirm, delete, or hold? My recommendation is just affirm or delete. Most thoughts, I'd actually like to push you to make a decision and not be in that holding pattern. I'm giving you that option because sometimes you might genuinely think to yourself, I'm not sure yet. I need to wait a day or I need to wait for more information. Yeah? Okay. So here's the thing. You can replace it with a better thought. And that's sort of the next level of this training. Okay. So tonight's exercise is just about mindfulness. It's just about, can you come to an awareness about what you're thinking? And just acknowledge if you want to accept it or if you want to delete it. One of the ways this shows up for me is, I don't know about you, but my parents are immigrants and they worried about everything my whole life because that's what immigrants do. So other people do too, but immigrants have doctoral degrees in worrying about things, right? You never have to really worry if you know an immigrant because I promise you they're worrying about it for you. And so you don't have to help them. And so sometimes I am my mom, right? Like sometimes I start to go down the worry wart path. I'm not a naturally worrisome person, but I will catch myself worrying about something and it's like irrelevant or who cares or, or there's nothing I can do about it or something like that, right? And so delete, 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 delete. If a thought comes into your mind, I want you to really hear me on this. If a thought comes into your mind and it's something that you're worried about, but it's either not realistic or something you can't do anything about, delete. Bye. Like, let's say you're not feeling good and all of a sudden, have you gone down this road before? Let's see how alike we are. Let's say you've got a pain somewhere in your arm, okay? And you start going online and you start reading and it says, oh, pain in your arm could be a result of, you know, some horrible thing, right? And all of a sudden you're reading and you're like, delete, 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 delete. Like, I just want you to pause and go, what would Athena want me to do right now? She would say, close that computer, close that WebMD BS, and delete, 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 delete. And one of my early teachers said something. It was really profound to me, and it stayed with me all these years. And even though I didn't stay as this person's student, he still had quite a lot to offer. And one of the things he taught me is people are blessing themselves and cursing themselves in every moment, and they don't know it. And so he's the one who taught me how to lead a powerful life through manifestation. And the biggest part of the secret is recognizing that in every moment, you are either blessing yourself or you are cursing yourself. You're either calling in more of what you want to experience, or you are going down a crappy road. And honestly, it really is your choice. And I'm telling you, after having lived a life of doing this work, it is absolutely as simple as that. You choose. This is your adventure. So the thought comes up. Are you going to accept it, affirm it, or are you going to delete it and say bye to that? So what do you think? You're liking this, huh? Do you think you can, I mean, you're trying it now, right? Every thought that pops into your mind. You know, I was just thinking, what are we doing for dinner tonight, right? So I was thinking that right before we came online. I haven't figured out dinner. Okay, well, I'm going to accept that thought because that is actually something I need to think about and figure out when I'm done here. So I don't want to delete that. I actually want to call in the vibration of inspiration for dinner because I don't know what to do for dinner tonight. Yeah, Melody says she lives it. That's so awesome. And if you can begin to live this way, accept, delete. You can even imagine there's little buttons. I'm a visual person, so for me, it's kind of fun to imagine like, and maybe like big buttons, like that you could like tap it with your palm, right? Like accept, delete, accept. And you know what I will tell you when you're really going to love me for this, when you're going to be thinking, you know what, I love her for this, is when you're laying in bed at night. And I don't know if you're like me this way. I'll wake up at like 2, and then the thinking, right? And most of those thoughts, those middle of the night thoughts, should be delete, delete, delete. Have you noticed? Because it's the stuff that's keeping you up that, like, honestly, you don't need to be thinking about, or you can't do anything about, or you can think about tomorrow. It doesn't have to be figured out right this minute. Delete, 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 delete. If you do that at night while you're laying in bed doing the monkey mind thing, you'll fall asleep. Because you'll finally, your mind will start to notice a pattern. And it'll start to deliver, because you're an intelligent system, okay? It'll start to deliver more affirmative thoughts that you can affirm, and fewer of the trash thoughts, fewer of the thoughts that you need to delete. Does that make sense? Well, and dreams waking you up, they're waking you up for a reason, right? In the middle of the night, sometimes is a really productive time to do thinking with intention. So, you know, I used to do a lot of my writing in the middle of the night when my kids were really small, because it was like the only quiet time in the house. So for some people, it's a peaceful space. But for a lot of us, when we wake up in the middle of the night, it's, you should have done this. Why, you know, why did that happen? Delete, 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 right? You can reflect, but watch the patterns. If you find yourself dissolving into fear, dissolving into anger, dissolving into worry, dissolving into anxiety, dissolving into confusion, dissolving into the, well, he said, and then I said, and he made me cry, you know, or what, if you're going down that road, delete, 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 delete. And then if you're ready for the next level, what the next level is starting to be intentional about what you create with your thoughts. Truly. And we can have, if you want, for next week's meditation, we could move into that conversation since we're at our time for tonight. Yeah, well, you know what? But pondering on your thoughts doesn't necessarily mean that you're using them magically. okay? If you want to use your thoughts magically, you need to use your thoughts productively. The earth signs, the Virgos, the Capricorns, and the Taurus, they're not always productive about it. They spin, right? I mean, I've never seen anybody spin. I'm surrounded by Virgos and I'm surrounded by Taurus, not as many Capricorns, but they spin. That's not productive. That's you replaying a scenario over and over again until you create it. It's absolutely, and I have medical doctor friends and we talk about this. We talk about, hypochondriacs, okay? And it's documented. If you spend your whole life worried about getting, a particular disease because your mom had it or your dad had it, what is likely to happen? Your thoughts manifest your reality. It's so powerful. And I'm bringing this to your attention because 2 reasons. Ready? One is this is going to bring you some comfort. This is going to help you feel. Mariah's a Virgo. Do you spin? Are you a spinner? I don't spin, but I as a double fire, I get really upset and then it's gone. I don't sit and spin on it, but my Virgo husband sure does. Less so now. I mean, even my husband is going through a really fun transformation, and it's fun to be with somebody for half your life, right? And to see them become. And a lot of people say, well, how did you get your husband to do that? And nobody got anybody to do anything. My husband is rising to the occasion of his own soul. And it just so happens to be that we're doing that together. And I wouldn't want him to do it for me. He has to do it for himself. And some partners choose not to do that. They choose to stay stuck or stay in a low vibration and not, move forward, not try to make progress. But he has arisen, in so many powerful ways. But I think part of it is too, and I had a meme about this once. It was like, do you remember it was Skeletor? Has anybody been with me long enough that you remember my Skeletor meme? I will seriously laugh if somebody says, I remember your Skeletor meme. They had a really funny quote on it. It wasn't my meme. It was from another site, but they closed their Facebook. I loved them so much. It was like the funniest metaphysical. But the meme, even though it was a funny meme, it had a serious idea behind it, which is the moment of transformation is the moment when you get tired of your own bullshit. Did you hear that? The moment of transformation is the moment that you get tired of your own bullshit, which means it doesn't matter whether it annoys me that you spin on things. It matters that it annoys you. It matters that it annoys you. It doesn't matter to me I want you to be happy, but if you insist on being unhappy, more power to you. But there will come a time when it annoys you. People who have been sick for a long time and start to appreciate. There are people who are sick and want and don't want to shift that paradigm because they get a lot of attention, a lot of pity, whatever it is. At some point, they get really tired of being sick. And that is the moment of transformation. But you have to get there. You have to get tired of it yourself. And nobody can get you to that point. You have to exhaust yourself first, I think. Are you there? Rachel says she's there. Yeah, Luna's there too. And so sometimes it's a waiting game. Like we're watching our loved ones and you're like, any minute now, you're going to get really tired of the same old, I never wear a watch, but you know what I mean? Like any minute you're going to get tired of the same old bullshit. I'll just wait, kind of thing. But anyway, it's a pattern in my family too. And I have done it. There have been times where I have had to get tired of my own BS too. I am not perfect. I have a lot of flaws. I'm constantly trying to evolve and get better. I'm so human. And we all are. So that's why I can see you and acknowledge where you are. That's right. So are you guys ready to do this? I'm sending some love to whoever that is there that needs that ambulance, that fire truck. We're next to a fire station at SG, so we have those every now and then. So thankful that it's none of us in there. I'm grateful that you're healthy and well. Not in an ambulance or in a fire truck tonight. Okay, so you ready? Okay, so you tried it now. You figured out how to do it. I would like you to commit to doing this for the next 24 hours. You don't have to do it forever. I think people can commit to almost anything for 24 hours. So just for the next day, I just want you to be mindful of your thoughts. Thank you for helping me send good energy to them too. I appreciate that. Just for the next 24 hours. Aho, let's do it. And so just be aware. And you don't have to remember to do it all the time, but when you finally go, oh, I should be deleting and affirming, delete, affirm, delete, affirm, delete, affirm. And then what you can teach your kids too is if they're nervous and anxious right now, because your kids are, and I'm going to leave you with this thought, create space. Even if you don't have kids, create space for the little ones in your life to talk to you about their feelings right now, because they are empathic, they are clear sensing, clear feeling, clear hearing, and they have very strong spiritual gifts. They're just not fully aware of them yet, and they're picking up on all the vibrations on our planet. Please make space for young people to talk to you about their feelings. They don't have to, but it'd be really nice if you just said, hey, so how are you feeling right now? What's going on with you? And really, really listen. Don't do the whole, what's going on with you? And then, back to your phone kind of thing. And then if the little ones around you are anxious, teach them to say yes, no. So when a scary thought comes up, no, I'm not gonna, perpetuate that. And when a happy thought comes, yes, I want more of that. And then they will start to see, because the universe brings more of what you acknowledge. You're basically, ordering from a menu. You realize that in your life, right? Like I'll take more of that and less of that and more of that. It's happening whether you're conscious of it or not. So the best thing you can do is just get really conscious of that. Yeah, Brittany says her 7-year-old is a Taurus, very empathetic. Yeah, just check in, and I never push my kids. Like my son's at that age, he's 10 and a half, where he'll just be like, I'll say, is there anything you want to talk about? And then sometimes he'll be, yeah, I need like an hour to, and he'll be nonstop. And then sometimes he's like, no, I'm good. And I don't push. If he says, no, I'm good, I don't need to talk about anything, I'm like, okay, well, So Allie says, how do you teach a 17-year-old with autism this? That's a fantastic question. You want to know my answer? Teach them in a different way. And so teach them maybe a sound to go with yes or no. Autistic kids really respond to sound and to music. So maybe you want to come up with go through your phone and come up with like a bell tone for yes and a different tone for no, and teach them to associate sound with yes and no. Just to be mindful of their thoughts. Give them lots of time to practice. Don't have any expectations, but just gently bringing their awareness. And when their awareness shifts, just gently bringing it back, but use or give them some cards and have them talk to you about their thoughts and say, pull a red card if you want to affirm one, or a blue card, if you want to delete one, and let them work with color or sound. Give them different modalities to work with, and they'll be much more responsive. Yeah. And so whether, no matter how withdrawn they are, yeah, you can use essential oils, use gemstones. I mean, how beautiful a use of gemstones is that, by the way? I've never really met an autistic child who sure didn't love gemstones. I have spent my share of time with many, and I've never had them, turn me down to come and play with gemstones with me. So that could be a really interesting way of doing that too. Well, listen to me. The autistic children are here as our teachers. We're not here as their teachers. They are here as our teachers. And if we don't, I'm speaking as a teacher now, but if we don't get really good at listening to them and finding out how to teach them, which all we have to do is just trust our intuition. We already know how to work with them. They came here to teach us. So we already have the skills. We just have to stop thinking in such a constrained way and get outside the box a little bit. We've got these antiquated educational systems that have failed pretty much everybody who's ever gone through them. And so certainly they aren't adequate for children who have additional needs. But they're the most beautiful souls on the planet. It's my dream one day to have a center of some kind, a school or a center, because I've just had incredible results working with the autistic children in my life with sound, with drums, and with crystal singing bowls. I have seen absolutely miraculous things happen. And I, as a scientist, I almost want to set up an experiment, right? Double blind, and see if there's really some data that we could produce about transformation. So that's on my mind sometimes. It's so good, you guys. All right, well, cheers to you. Cheers to becoming a driver in your life, not so much the passenger yet. There's nobody riding in your car. You are driving. If you don't like your car, change your car. It really is as simple as that. So I'm going to blow out my candle. And let's just take a moment right now, as we watch the smoke, to send some of the peace and comfort and confidence that we have generated tonight, before I close our circle, to everyone who is experiencing any kind of grief or stress or trauma on the planet right now. Anyone who needs it in any country, in any location around the world. We send the beautiful energy of this circle to you. May you find comfort in dark and quiet places. Amen, aho, and so it is. It's kind of a beautiful blessing for us. Maybe I'll continue that. May you find comfort in dark and quiet places. Kind of a beautiful wish for people, isn't it? I love these nights with you too. I looked forward to this all day long. I literally just could not wait to see you. So I want to make a stone recommendation for you, okay? If you have rose quartz, this is the best gemstone to work with for the Affirm Delete, okay? The absolute best gemstone for you to work with, because it's going to help you to affirm and delete from your heart. Your heart really is the center of your energetic system. The Anahata chakra is the center of the entire energetic system. It's the center chakra. And that's because your heart really is the governor of your system, right? It is the one place that you can trust. Even when your intuition doesn't seem to be sharp and when your intellect fails you, your heart never will. So I'd like to recommend that you work with rose quartz as a gift to you for the next 24 or 48 hours, as long as you guys ask for it. If you say love in your notes, actually, let me make a different code, because love is actually going to be something that's coming up in the next 24 hours for something else. Little surprise waiting for you. Let's do rose, okay? If you put rose in your notes, just as a gift, if you order anything in the next couple of days, I will send you a free piece of rose quartz so that you have it for your little exercise. And maybe just keep that piece on your bedside table if you're going to work a lot with this at night, or first thing in the morning. Just let that sort of be on your bedside table as a reminder. Or put it somewhere where you're going to see it all the time. Put it on your desk at work, or carry it in your pocket. It will remind you, and it will hold the energy of tonight. So rose, okay? That'll be for your free rose quartz. And I'll just do a little blessing over the pieces before I send them out so that they'll become really good reminders to you. Affirm, delete, affirm, delete, affirm, delete. Does that sound good? Yeah, your little rose icon. I love that. Thank you, Lori. All right, you guys. Have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday. I hope that tonight has brought you a sense of comfort, truly. I hope that my genuine sense of optimism about world events and also just about the energy in the field, I hope that it's also bringing you some clarity and some comfort too. And thank you also for seeing me and for bringing a lot of clarity and comfort to my life too, because you always do. It's a beautiful group of us in this community, and I really do treasure you and love you very much, and I see you. And happy birthday to Susan, not Michael. Hey, Michael, when's your birthday? We now that we have celebrated you, I feel like we really have to know when Michael's birthday is so that we can celebrate him too. Thanks, you guys. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I'll see you very soon. You guys take care.